Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video and another episode of my MotoGP 19 career mode here today for rounds number 9 and 10 for the German Grand Prix and also the Czech Republic Grand Prix at Brno. And if you guys missed the last episode guys for rounds 7 and 8 for Catalonia and Assen, then check out the video guys by clicking on the card in the top right hand corner of your screen before coming back to this one, before we delve into any further spoilers. But for this episode guys, the Sachsenring is the first race in this episode, one of my favourite tracks on the calendar, unique because it's got so many left-hand turns and not very many right-handers, so we're going to see how it goes. And also Brno as well, a very long lap, a very challenging lap, so two tracks that I quite enjoy and very fun tracks to race on. In terms of the last episode, a lot of you did vote in the card in the top right hand corner of the screen in terms of whether I should jump to Moto 2 mid-season or whether I should stay in Moto 3, and it was very close. I'm going to give it a little bit more time and kind of give you guys again another reminder that if you want to go vote in the last episode, in the card in the top right hand corner of the screen there's a vote as to whether I stay in Moto 3 or jump to Moto 2 in the next contract window. Then do vote guys in the top right hand corner of the screen in the previous episode. With that being said though, let's jump into things here today for this episode, and we're going to get into practice first of all at the Sachsenring, go for a couple of practice programs, set up that's good enough to go into Q2, and then we will transition hopefully into qualifying. But let's jump into practice and let's get up to speed around the German Grand Prix in the Sachsenring. Okay, so quite rarely we actually have a wet practice session here at FP1, so we're going to see how the weather gets on I guess, but we're going to try and do the practice programs and also set a competitive lap in the wet, just in case if the rest of the weekend is in these sessions. But a rare wet session for us to kick off the weekend here at the Sachsenring. I've got to say this has been a pretty good first lap. I've decided to save my practice programs for FP2, FP3, hoping it might be dry because there's no point redoing it in the wet, it's not accurate. So we're just going to do a few laps here just to get used to the wet conditions in case, you know, the rest of the weekend is wet. And you know, this lap does matter for qualifying. If the whole weekend's wet, this lap will count in terms of the combined lap times through into the final corner then. And to be fair, this is a pretty good reference banker, I think, to be honest. I left my assist on, I forgot to take them off, so I'll take them off now when I come back into the pit lane. But either way, across the line 35.6, so that's not too bad for an opener. We'll go for one more, we'll pit back in. Oh, well that's invalidated the lap time, so we're going to go back to the pit lane now. It's half second up in sector 1, but apparently that was an invalidation, so let's see how the session gets on. The rain has stopped falling now, it's just a wet track, so the weather seems to be improving a bit. Okay, so this is the end of FP1, and I kind of just monitored things, but no one really improved that much. And we seem pretty quick around here, although not the big boys. Not all the big ones have set their big times. You know, Sergio Garcia down in P9 there, and Amos to be fair did go P2, but Toba, when Kato Toba's P3, that tells me that other people haven't really set their best times elsewhere. Either way, FP1's done. Let's see if FP2's in the dry, or we're going to have another wet session. Okay, so FP2 is wet again, so what we'll do is we'll go back out, try and set another decent lap time, probably improve on FP1 time, and we'll go to FP3, see if we can try and do the practice programs in that session. Pretty good lap to be fair, no complaints. The bike worked well without the assist, no real difference. The engine braking is noticeable when you're not using it. The bike goes a lot longer into the corners, but up to the line, and there we go, 35.5. So a small improvement on the lap from FP1, but for 90 does go to 35.4. So looks like it could be close. I'm going to try and go for one more and see if we can improve. Okay, this is a much better lap, 8/10 up. Although De La Porta just set a new benchmark, so we need to improve anyway. That's very wide there. Very wide. We're going to kind of carry the momentum on the exit. Let's try and have a strong final corner if we can. Again, I've run wide. Tyres are letting go a bit towards the second lap, towards the end. On the power, we've lost a bit of time there, but it should still be an improvement. Up to the line, there we go, 34.9. And that's not too bad. That should be good enough for Q2. And we're not going to bother with the practice programs because it seems to be a wet weekend all the way through. So we're just going to cut to qualifying, to be honest, and we'll do the practice programs at the next race in Brno. We're into Q2 once more, which is good news, so no scares there whatsoever. The practice pace was good enough, but it's definitely close, and the AI might go even faster in qualifying pace, so we're going to have to be on top of that game to try and get the pole position one more time here. Right then, so 9 minutes-ish to go as we go for the final corner here to get ready for our first of 2 laps, I think. We don't really have that many tyres left. We've got, I believe, 2 sets of mediums left and 3 in the rear. But in case the race is wet, we might need those wet medium tyres. So I'm going to do 2 hot laps with 2 fresh tyres in this session, and that is it. So we need to make every lap count, including this one. Oh, almost went down there. I can feel the little wiggle in the force feedback in the controller. But we did keep it a lot tighter to the line than we did in practice. Again here a little bit better through the final corner, but we run wide, we pick up some understeer. That's going to affect my exit quite badly up to the line. We do set a 34.6 though, it's still a pretty damn good time. I'm going to try and squeeze up one more lap on this set of tyres if I can. See if I can improve, I think I can. Oh dear, I'm very wide this time. Tyres are letting go. I'm 4 tenths up after the 3rd sector. So it's not over just yet. If I can just have a tidy final corner, I can make up for lost time. That's much better, keeping it nice and tight. On the power there, a little bit of a squirmy exit, but it is better. We should improve. There we go, 34.0. That should be enough for pole, I think, already. That's a better lap. Let's go back to the garage and let's see how others get on with their lap times. Okay, so with 2 minutes to go, it's looking pretty ominous. We are looking good in first place with a 34.0. The AI have improved their pace a lot as well since practice. And it's actually German and Masia, surprisingly, in P2. And Amos and Garcia only 5th and 6th. So quite surprising there. Fenati, Canet and Masia are actually pushing the front here. So I reckon we should be good for pole. And I'm going to take a chance and say the lap we did before was good enough. And I'm not going to go out again. So let's see what happens. And there we go then, it was good enough as we do take pole position here at the Saxon Ring once again in this career mode, and we take pole by around 7 to 6 tenths over Jam and Masia. Fenati and Canet, the only other people in the 134s, and then Garcia and Amos 5th and 6th. They couldn't manage to get into the 34s, nor did Della Porta either. So the 3 that were kind of nearest to me in the championship, only 5th, 6th and 7th. And Canet, Fenati and Masia with a bit of resurrection here in this race, and showing a little bit of form there. So good news for them. But yeah, qualifying overall, a positive session for us, and no complaints there. We now move into the race. Here we go then, on the grid for the German Grand Prix at the Saxon Ring. And it's looking like another wet session here today, so a fully wet weekend. The first one of this career mode so far. We had a little bit of rain at Jerez, but the race was dry. So a pretty unique scenario for us with a wet race here, wet qualifying and wet practice. So first of all, we're going to get the tyres changed, and we're going to stick a fresh set on. Good thing I saved at least a couple of sets just in case. And we didn't burn through too many of them, but there we go, fresh tyres on the bike. We're going to struggle to do 3 laps on these tyres. I must admit, we struggled in qualifying and practice, so we're going to have to try and take it easy on these and try not to kill them off too early. The last lap's going to be a big struggle on these tyres, I've got to say, a big struggle. And we've got the assist turn off, so without further ado, let's just jump into things here and let's try and win another race and try and extend our championship lead. Here we go then, first gear selected, the 5 red lights come on here at the Saxon Ring, lights out, and away we go. Oh, that's a very wheel spinny start, I have to say. The rear tyre's absolutely been lit up there, you can see in the bottom right how hot the rear's got, so we've absolutely just spun that up. That's the first time I've done that, I don't know how that's happened with the start there, but we've held on. Sergio Garcia's gone down again, my championship rival, and there's more contact here with other riders. Fenati going very wide there. That's going to be quite dangerous for anyone behind when he rejoins the circuit. Masia takes first place though. And so far, a pretty chaotic start to this race. The rear tyre starting to get under control a little bit there in terms of temperature. Hopefully I can cool it off a little bit more and try and take a bit of a different line through here on purpose. Masia has a huge couple of moments. Somehow is still on the bike. That is incredible. Masia there almost went down like 3 times in one corner. He's still wobbling now, and he seems to be struggling a bit for grip here, so we might be able to catch him up and cash in on this as we go through sector 3. And I'm feeling good around here already. I love this track so much. This section here is just so much fun how fast it is. Through the left as we approach the waterfall. Masia having another wobble there again. Turn 11, here we go. Getting the toe down the hill. Can we go down the inside here at the penultimate corner? It's going to be tricky. I'm going to have a look. There we go. That's a nice move. Power down nice and early. And that is a textbook overtake down the inside there. Into the penultimate corner. Into the final corner though. Masia comes back at me. I'm going to take the wider line, which is going to give me the worst exit to be fair. I don't really get the front to tuck in as I'd like. As we go to the pit straight though, we are going to have the advantage of the extra horsepower on this bike as we get the toe and pull to the inside. Nice and easy on the brakes into turn 1 here. It's a very tricky corner, this one. Very wide there. Easy to tuck the front in, but we are going to get the move on Masia. And we're back into first place. And we managed to pull it away from him. And there we go. That's a nice move again to turn 1 there. Very nice, clean move. No contact made. Now we've got to try and see if we can establish a bit of a gap and keep these tyres alive as well. My rear tyre is now under control temperature-wise, which is good. So we've managed to get that down. And now we've got to try and open up a gap here and establish dominance in this race. Garcia up to P14 already, recovering quite nicely from that crash at the beginning. But let's get our head down and let's try and open up a gap. Okay, strong pace then, 35.1, that's not too bad. We did a 34.0 in qualifying, but that's not too bad at all. So we start to open up a bit of a gap now to the riders behind. Just trying to keep it calm and simple as we go into the last lap of the Grand Prix. A little bit wider in turn 1, but that's okay. You won't get challenged, but let's bring this one home. Here we go then, into the final few corners. Garcia's recovered up to P9, so fantastic recovery from him. As we go through the Saxon curve. One more corner to go. Let's take it nice and easy now. We've got an okay gap behind. Not a huge gap, but enough of a gap. It's been a relatively comfortable race. I've had to stay on my toes. But here we go then, at the final corner, up the hill. And we're going to come through to win the German Grand Prix. And the 3rd race win in a row. That's what I'm talking about. There you go. Look at the results. No complaints there whatsoever as our championship rivals finish 8th and 9th. Very, very solid race. We win the German Grand Prix and we actually set a 34.5 on the last lap, which wasn't too bad to be fair. And there's a few more 34s and there was Della Porta, Finati and Binder. Canet as well and Toba, all in the 34.6s. So the AI had strong pace that race. I just managed to get enough of a gap in the early stages to really pull away. But overall, a very good win here today. And let's look at the Riders' Championship. We are now 56 points clear at the top of the table after that race as Amos holds on to 2nd place. But after that race, Finati, Canet, Binder, Masia, they all gained big points on those 3 behind me. In terms of the team championship, we are 10 points behind CIP Green Power, closing in on that top spot in the constructors as Team Leopard Racing overtake Estrella Galicia 0-0. With that being said though guys, we're now going to move into the next race at Brno. Okay, so we're currently here at Brno. It's another kind of wet session. This time though it's actually sunny and the track is just a little bit damp. But I'm actually doing the practice program this time. The conditions are much better and a lot more suited for it, so I can actually focus on these and a little bit easier as well. So we're going to do these practice programs now in these conditions, which should be okay. So we're kicking off in practice. Also, I seemingly don't have good pace. I accidentally paused the... I did this for a second to check a message, and for some reason it's removed my line. So I've been guessing this whole time. So I've been trying to keep it above the low point because I'm struggling to keep it in the optimals. We get caught up behind Perez here. Seemingly have very poor pace here at the minute. I'm going to do the qualifying test to see if I can improve my pace, but at the minute we are struggling. Okay, so that wasn't the best R&D program I've ever done, but definitely not the worst. Now we're going to go to the quick lap simulation, and we're going to see if we can try and set a lap time good enough to beat the threshold and also improve our lap, because we're about 2.5 seconds off the pace at the minute, so we need to find some lap time. So let's get to it. That was less than ideal, but I should have gone to the inside. That was my fault. Silly move. I thought I could get him around the outside. Let's push on though and get past Suzuki as well, as traffic is not helping me out when I need to have a clear track to set a better lap time. I'm hot here, I'm very hot. I've got so much understeer. I had this in Sachsenring as well. Hopefully we can get past Suzuki though and try and clear the traffic. Oh no, I'm going to hit him. Oh dear. Oh damn, this is so annoying. Traffic, 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 traffic. Get out of the way. Come on, let's try and get past the lack as well and try and have a strong end to the lap if we can. Can use him as a brake, I don't really care. I need to get past. Wow, 1.4 down, we are so far off. Okay, that's a better sector 3 there. That was really, really good. I actually hooked up really nice and found some lap time. I've managed to hook it up and recover this lap a bit. Through the final corner. Trying to get that power down as soon as possible. Built a short shift there, but that was a good second half of the lap, a good recovery, if I do say so myself. And there we go, pretty much a second off, so that's not too bad. We'll have a look at the lap times now to see exactly where we are, but I think that was a good recovery, to be honest, and that lap should get me into Q2, I think. That should be okay. We are P5, 8/10 off the pace, and you can see there's quite a gap there down to Antonelli, so the top 18 do go through, so I reckon we'll be okay. I think that lap should get us through, no problem. So yeah, I reckon all in all, not too bad. You know, a crisis in a way averted. Garcia and Amos are back on the pace this race as well, which is good to see for the championship. But yeah, those are the standings. Now we're going to move presumably into qualifying. Okay, game changer. So FP3 is dry, so we're going to have to contest this session and set an improved lap time to get into Q2 because the wet times won't be valid no more. So we're going to have to readapt our riding style to the dry conditions. So let's get into it. Right, let's set a quick benchmark and see where we are. I feel confident around here though. I think we won't have good pace, but I need to just set a lap that's relatively competitive. The dry is so much quicker around here as well. I can notice it already. It's a lot faster, so let's try and get up to speed and set a good lap time. That was close. I have to correct my line there. That little touch of the curb just ruined it for me. Ooh, that's very wide into there. I pushed the limit too much there on the brakes. It's been a good lap though. Felt pretty good. We'll see how it is when we get to the end. This chicane's so awkward just because of how uphill it is, but we're going to tackle it okay, to be fair. Sector 3 is definitely my strong point, even though I made a mistake. I definitely feel strong through there, but here we go then up the hill, and hopefully this lap will be enough for Q2. Unless the AI have very good pace around it, which could also be a possibility. Closing the corner. Nice and easy, open up the last corner a bit. Focus on your exit out of here to really have good straight line speed on the straight. There we go, good job done. 211 hopefully, no, just into the 212s. Right, we're going to see how that lap copes and see if that's going to be enough for a Q2 appearance. Okay, so with 15 minutes-ish to go, it's looking pretty comfortable and we should be good to get into Q2. We're 1.3 clear of the nearest bike, so it's looking pretty damn good. Although I will admit that Garcia hasn't really set the best lap. He's only P4 at the minute, and also Amos is not even in the top 13. So we'll see how it goes, but for us it's good enough, so let's move into qualifying. Okay, so we're into Q2, which is good. Surprisingly, Booth Amos in Q1, so he's going to have to make his way through. So we shall see if he joins us in Q2. Garcia is in, so that's one of the championship rivals in Q2, but let's get to work and let's try and get another pole position in this season. Right then, just under 10 minutes to go. No one's set a lap time yet, so we're going to probably set the benchmark. Let's see what we can do. Oh no, there's a good lap in me, and I can go even faster than we did in practice. It's just about hooking it all up. It's such a long lap around here. You're prone to so many mistakes, but let's try and do a good job here. The tyres will only last for one lap around here because it's such a long lap, so we need to make it count. What a lap this has been so far. As we get past Migno, we are absolutely flying. It feels great this lap, it really does. Oh, that's the first mistake of the lap though. A little bit wide there. Missed that apex. That's the first one I've missed all lap. Other than that, it's been pretty much perfect, and it's still a good lap if we finish this strongly. So let's keep pushing on here. 48.5 in the middle sector, that's pretty good. Here we go. Into the penultimate corner. Oh, that curb's a wobble, but luckily it doesn't affect our line into there. Rear tyres are starting to fade already on the second half of the lap here. On the power. Keep a tight line, there we go. Let the revs run up to the red. Up to the line. Getting to the 211s. Not quite 2:12.0. Still faster than practice. And I reckon that lap might be enough for a pole based off of practice times. We'll let time simulate a bit and see how we get on, but I reckon that will be pole position, to be honest. What a lap that was, so except for that mistake, a very strong lap. Here we go then, inside the 2.5 minute mark pretty much, and the nearest rider's 1.4 behind, so we're looking pretty comfortable. I reckon we'll be okay with this, and pole position looks to be secured, so we're going to stay in the garage and not go back out on track. And there we go then, we do secure pole position, and by 1.4 seconds to be fair, over Fenati, Darren Binder P3, German Masia P4, Della Porta P5, Canet P6, Tauber 7th, Ramirez 8th, and Garcia down at P9. And then further down the order, you can see that Amos didn't even make Q2 in the end, so a disappointing qualifying for one of my championship rivals. But there you go then, pole position secured, we now move into the race. Okay then, here we are on the grid for the Czech GP here at Brno, one of the best tracks on the calendar, and we go again from pole position. As you can see there, our rivals nearby on the grid as we start once again from first place. As always, we're going to change the tyres for this one. Tyre wear's quite heavy, so I'm going to go for a medium hard around here, especially the rear tyre needs some help. So we're going to go for the medium hards around here and play it safe. I think we've got a decent pace around here compared to the last couple of races where there was only a few tenths in it. This one we've got a comfortable second in our back pocket. With that being said though, let's jump into things here and let's try and win yet another race and make it 4, I believe, in a row. Here we go then. First gear selected, the 5 lights come on at the Czech Republic GP at Brno, and we are underway here. Is it a good start? Looks pretty okay. Masia getting a good start, I think, as usual. It's a pretty close drag race as we go down towards turn 1 here. We're going to be on the outside. I'm going to try and get low and cut in underneath, but no way through just yet. Masia does take first place as we take a very shallow line. Oh my goodness, that was a big wobble right there. Luckily we stay on our bike and we're going to get a good exit here, and we're going to get the run on Masia as we race down towards turn 3, and look at that, we power back past even before the brake zone. Can we get it slowed down though? Masia back down the inside. I have to get out of it just briefly there. I was going to turn in and commit to that, but Masia makes the move and retakes first place for now. Let's try and stay with him though and put the pressure on as sector 1 draws to a close. We're now to sector 2, another good exit there, and we've got the run on him once again here as we go down the inside. Can we get it on the brakes? We're a little bit hot there, but we are going to take the position. Slight bit of contact. Masia back down the inside again on the switchback. I'm going to switch back underneath again there, but no way through. More contact there as I almost take him down, to be fair. That was my fault. A little bit too eager there to get back underneath. On the power again though. This is a great battle between myself and Masia for the second race running. This isn't my best corner, so we're going to not attempt anything into this one. We're going to try and open up the line though for this next double apexed right, and really try and feed the power in early on. That's a pretty good exit again here. Let's try and stick with him. This is sector 3 now, my strongest sector on the entire lap. So let's try and stay close to Masia here. Take a wide entry. Bring it back in a little bit for a late apex. On the power nice and early, which is going to give us the run down the hill as we then start to go upwards. Very close to Masia again here. I could have gone for the lunge, but again I'm being patient. You know, we've got the pace advantage. We've got the run, and there we go down the inside. That's a good move, block pass. And then we're back at the first place. Up the hill, we've got a nice little gap as well. It's looking pretty comfortable. So that was a very nice, that was a perfectly executed block pass as we go into the penultimate corner now. Oh my god, Masia, gee whiz, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not even going to take any blame for that. That was way too shallow. Like, that line was ridiculous. Wow. Whew. I'm happy we stayed on the bike, to be honest. That was scary, very, very scary there. Luckily, we're still on the bike, which is good news, so we can continue on here, but that could have been a horrible crash for us as well. Right then, that's the pressure off then, with Masia gone, so let's try and win this race. I've got to say, I'm struggling to shake them off here. They're staying with me, even into Sector 3. I wonder if I've got some bike damage from that crash. Either way, you can see the minimap. They're still following me here. Garcia's in P2, so he's come out of nowhere this weekend and snatched the P2, so he's recovering all of a sudden. And he's dragging everybody else with him. And I'm trying to shake them off, but they're holding on at the minute. The pace from the AI and race pace is so much better than qualifying around this circuit. They've found a lot more pace on Sunday. And we need to be careful here. Luckily, we've got still plenty of tyres left. The rear is going a little bit, but across the line, it's a 2:13.2, so not the best lap. As we go on to the last lap of the Grand Prix, let's try and bring this one home. Very close through there a couple of times in that corner. So tucking the front, I'm pushing at the minute because we're struggling for pace a little bit here. Like I'm at full power, and I'm barely pulling away from Garcia here. He's had a very, very good race. Also, Amos has recovered as well. He's all the way up to P4, I believe, so incredible recovery from him as well. The gap has remained at 7/10 pretty much this entire lap with Garcia. As we now go into the penultimate corner, let's just take it nice and easy here. The rear tyre is starting to really fade now. Into the final corner then. Easy does it on the power. Let's not overdo it. Garcia's right on my tail, but we are going to get a good exit. And there we go. It's going to be 4 in a row as we win the Czech GP. Get in there. There we have it then. We do win the race, confirmed with the fast lap of the Grand Prix. Garcia with the 2:12.9. If you compare that to qualifying lap times, Booth Amos as well with the 12.9. They were so much more competitive in race trim, so those two guys definitely outpacing qualifying for sure. But other than that, you can see there Fenati P3, he splits the 2 championship rivals with Darren Binder P5. In terms of the Riders' Championship, we are 62 points clear of Garcia and 68 clear of Amos now as we enter the second half of the season. And in terms of the Team Championship, we are now just 4 points behind CIP Green Power, so we're really putting the pressure on here and really starting to get close to those guys. So let's try and keep the pressure on and try and catch up to them if possible. But yeah guys, that is going to be it for this episode of the MotoGP career mode. If you did enjoy it, then please do drop a like and also get subscribed for daily Formula 1 and MotoGP content, and turn on notifications to not miss a video from me. And finally, check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.